The first meet and greet we did was with Chevelle. Chevelle was on that tour. And that's the one where we're kind of hanging out backstage. It's me and like 4 winners. And the guy who's setting it up, he's like, so we're going to put the table here. The band is going to sit here. And then you guys stand on the side. And then you shuffle through and they'll sign whatever you have. And I'm like, there's like 4 of us, man. Really? So the band comes out and they're like looking around. And he goes, we don't really want to sit there. You guys just want to hang out for like 15 minutes? And so everybody was like, fuck yeah. So we're like, dude, just sat there and just shot the shit with Chevelle. Like, they were super fucking cool, man. Like, they were like the coolest guys on the planet. We just hung out with them for like 15 minutes until they had to go get ready.
Chevelle or Korn?
Chevelle. So
right,
then so when the Chevelle meet and greet's over, I go to walk out, and I've got all the passes and shit on my, to get around. Nobody's saying anything to me because I'm like stuck on my jacket and stuff. So I end up by craft services where they're all eating dinner.
No.
And I'm still wondering if I missed out on an opportunity because I look over and about 20 feet over away, I see Jonathan Davis scooping spaghetti. He's putting it on his plate. Right. And you see the rest of the band over there, and I'm guessing their families and all these other people. And I was like, fuck, I should just go grab a plate. I hadn't eaten. I was hungry. I was like, I should just go grab a plate of spaghetti and eat with the band. And I didn't.
Okay.
Like, I legitimately,
Why?
like, I sat
Why
there
didn't
and
you?
I just chickened out. I was like, what if I get yelled at? What if I get kicked out? Because I was like, I got my NRQ jacket on, and it's big, bold NRQ letters, so I'm representing the radio station.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure what the protocol is because I was going to go over there, and I was just going to scoop it up, and then I saw Jonathan sit down, and there like was only a couple people at his table, and I was going to go grab some spaghetti, and I was going to go sit down next to him and just start a conversation.
Yeah. Right.
So yay or nay? Should I have done that?
The answer is 100% yay. I'm really sorry, man. I was waiting for there to be something of like.
No, I just chickened out. Like that's I'm asking you that because you could give me some insight on like they don't really like that or like
the difference is you're working with the radio station. You are the host of the evening. It's the thing that's funny is that for me, I can tell you. Don't get me wrong. There's no version of this where I'm possibly insinuating that anyone would feel that way about me. Jonathan Davis is Jonathan Davis. However, if I was in the situation where I was headlining a show for a radio station, which I've done, and I go and get some food and I sit down and I see the radio DJ or the guy from the station over there, I assume he's going to come and talk to me because we're working together that day. And I've come into town and it's like we don't see each other every day and we're working together that day. I would actually assume if he didn't come and sit with us, that he doesn't like me. I would assume I've done something wrong.
Okay, so first of all, he never saw me. Like I was far enough away that he never saw me. Just like
well, no, but to my point, you welcome the person from the station unless you're an idiot like like Bush, the singer from Bush, when he's like, get that guy away from the thing.
When Gavin kicked everybody out.
Or if you're Perry Farrell, like fuck that radio station. But if you've got half a brain. When you're playing their town, doing their show, and they're playing you on the station, and someone from the station comes up, I would have stopped almost any conversation I was having to say to the radio guy, "Hey man, sit down, let's hang out, tell me what's been up, and let's have a chat."
I mean, I guess we're kind of technically working together, but we weren't. Like, it wasn't our show. Like, we're just there.
Dude, no, there's no version. If you had gone up to Jonathan Davis and literally all you got to say, you got your jacket on, he knows you're with the station, and you say, "Hey man, I'm with the station. Is this seat taken?" And then you sit down. He's not going to say, "Yeah, it's taken." He's going to be like, "Oh, yeah, no, you're with the station. Yeah, sit down." I don't want it to get back to the station that you asked me and I was like, "Fuck off." Even if I mean, countless times, seriously, dude, the amount of times that I've had people who work at stations, you go back around years later and they're like, "Dude, I met you when I was an intern and you were so cool to me, man. I was just getting coffee. And now I'm fucking like one of the main head DJs here 5 years later. And I never forgot that." So you just be nice to everyone. Even if they don't work at the station.
God, we got to get there. Fine, fuck it. We're going to have to interview him on History of Rock so then I can bring it up to him directly and be like, "Hey, would you be cool with that?" I've
never had a full conversation with Jonathan. I've met him twice because of Aaron Lewis. Because Aaron and I are friendly. We were pretty tight when I was touring. We used to hang out a lot, but we've lost touch recently. But he would actually introduce me to. I would literally go up and hang out with Aaron when I knew Jonathan Davis or Fred Durst was around, just to be like, "Hey man, I'm just gonna be in this fucking area. so that if they come by, because you know him, and he would
all
introduce
awkward.
me. Yeah, no, but he would. I remember when he introduced me to Jonathan Davis, and I was like, Jonathan was talking about something to do with fishing, because Aaron's all about fishing. Something to do with fishing,
Yeah,
hunting,
he's a country
whatever.
boy.
Yeah. And I was there, and I was just hanging out, and I sort of pretended to be on my phone so it wasn't awkward. But in my head, I'm like, yo, man, it's Jonathan Davis. Can you say, hey, this is Shim, whatever. And eventually he's like, oh, man, hey, this is Shim. He's from Sick Puppies. And Jonathan goes like, who? And he goes, Shim. He's no, don't get me wrong. I remember as it happened, I was like, that's fucking awesome. That's fantastic. That's perfect. And he was like, Sick Puppies. They're playing right before us. And I was like, oh, cool. Hey, man, what's up? Shake the hand. Cool. Back to the conversation. And I was like, cool, that's what happened. Jonathan Davis has no idea who the fuck I am. But I thought it was so sweet of Aaron to presume that he's heard of the band. He's like, yeah, Sick Puppy. He's like, this is the guy. I'm like, nah, never fucking heard of him.
All right, well, I guess, that
wonderful.
settles it. So there's some major aspirations that we have here for the History of Rock podcast, one of which is to sit down with Rage Against the Machine when they're here in the Borderland next February. And then obviously now we got to book Jonathan Davis to come on so I can tell him, hey, this was the situation back then.
Yeah.
Would you have been cool if I had come over?
You really want to ask him that? I guess
don't know.
we should.
Fuck.
And now
See,
it's a thing.
But see, well, God damn it, because in my head, this is the negative part of me where it's like, yeah, just go over there. Like, just go over there. Like, it's not the end of the goddamn world. He's not going to fucking yell at you.
Dude, I was the opposite, man. I remember, and this is the thing that I always found really funny. Gerard Way from My Chem, when we played the Big Day Out in 2006, Black Parade had just dropped. They were the biggest band in the world. And we were fans, man. And we played the Big Day Out. We were opening the main stage, and My Chem was in the afternoon. And My Chem came over, and they were still getting over the jet lag, and they did an amazing show. And I remember we watched them from the side of the stage, and the crowd sang every word from every song. And it was amazing. You really felt like you were witnessing a real moment in time. And Gerard was singing, but he didn't fucking need to. They were singing every word of every song back. They were screaming. And they walked off stage, and they got their shit together, and then they went to craft services. And I literally just walked, dude, I swear to God, I'd never met Gerard. No one had introduced us, nothing. And he was there with his security guy, just eating, just minding his own business. I went up and just sat down right next to him, and I was like, dude, how does it feel to have everyone singing that shit back to you, man? That has got to be amazing. And he was like, yeah, man, it's really cool. Yeah. I said, man, my name's Shim. I was in Sick Puppies. I opened up the stage, man. Like, we're going to be out with you guys for like 6 shows. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool, man. Okay, great. You had a good show? Yeah, man, my show was great. Not as good as yours, but, and I'm just fucking going. I'm just fucking laying it down until eventually he's there. And I realize, I'm like, wow, I'm talking a lot. I'm nervous. And then after about a minute, the security guard goes, Gerard, yeah, that thing, yeah, we got to go, right? And he's like, yeah, we got to go. Okay, cool. Yeah, bye. And the security guard bailed him out. And I was like, cool. I'm never talking to him again. That's never gonna... I mean, I was 23, 24. I was so nervous. But the funny thing is, the next time that I spoke to him was years later, and it was at a festival in Europe. Huh?
Did you bring that up?
No, I didn't bring it up. I'm sure he remembered because I was fucking annoying. I mean, I would remember me. You remember someone who's that obnoxious, right? And I was walking around. It was long after we'd had several hits and we're in a totally different part of our career and we're doing great. We're over in Europe. And I'm like, hey, My Chem's playing and we're going to watch. And I'm just walking around the back and I see this guy with one of those silly hats on back when they were trendy for a minute, the ski hats for like 6 months they were really in. And he's wearing one. And I just hear from somewhere over there and he's like, hey, Shim, hey. And I'm looking, he's like, and it's Gerard. And I was like, hey, man. He was like, hey, man, what's up? How you doing? Yeah, you love the new song, man. And what are you doing? Did you guys play already? And he's just fucking talking to me like we're bros. And I'm like, this is not how I thought it would go.
Do you think maybe he had like a come to Jesus moment later or something like that?
No, I think it was just like if he did remember me, he let it go because he was like, all right, you guys you're a real band now. We were not a real band the first time. We just started touring.
You were a young puppy.
Yeah, and then we did a handful of shows with them, and they were really cool to us, and we hung out backstage and we talked, and I remember talking to the guitar player a bunch, and I always thought it was really hilarious when you'd meet Ray and his voice was so high that it would shock you for a second because he has an almost comically high voice. That's how he can hit the high harmonies. And you'd go, man, he's a great singer. And then you'd meet him and go, damn, your voice is really that high. Shit. Love you, Ray. Love you. Nothing but respect. So,
can you hear the music?
So anyway, I could hear the music, but I totally didn't know when we were going to be. I figured you'd wind me up.
Oh, no, that's why I was turning it up.
Oh, yeah, I could hear it a little bit.
Barreled right through the stop sign.
I just barreled right through it. All right.
I'm going to pick it up right here. All right. So anyway, no, not quite yet. We'll get to My Chemical Romance at some time, but we got an encore coming up here. Remember, we got remix episodes that drop every Wednesday. You can check them out on my YouTube channel, at The Real Brandalorian. You can check me out on TikTok as well. It is at Goat the Brandalorian. Shim is at Shim on Instagram. Look for the blue check mark at Shim Moore on TikTok. And then also he is at Shimon Moore on YouTube. So on that note, his name is Shim. He is the rock star.
His name is Brandon. He is the DJ.
Class dismissed.